stuff regardless. Like, we've both had failed ventures, right? And taking it back, if we take it all the way back, your bathroom thing failed, right?
Yeah.
That's like a proper big business. How much are you turning over?
Turnover 400 grand a year.
400 grand a year. How much did you
Four
rent a
staff.
month?
Rent was 3 grand a month.
3 grand a month, and you had 4 staff, yeah?
4 staff, yeah.
And that collapsed. Like, people don't think something that big can collapse, right? A warehouse selling bathrooms, like a basic product everyone needs. People would think, how did that fail? And that failed, and what did you go back and do after? Like, a week after it collapsed, you started something, right?
Yeah. I'll tell you what I started now. Before we get into it, do you reckon I can say it?
Well, if you can't, we can cut it out anyway.
So there's 2 answers. The one answer might be on this podcast if it didn't get cut out. And that's I was selling MCAT, because MCAT I could buy it. Which was a plant
fertilizer.
It was completely legal at the time, and I didn't realize what other people were using it for. I was buying it for plants, and you buy it £3 a gram, you sell it for 20 quid, and then suddenly it was this like sweet business model where I didn't have all this warehousing to pay, I didn't have all this, and it was like, right, buy for £3, sell for 20.
Yeah, the basics of business: buy for less, sell for more. Like, it's so sweet, and no overheads, nothing. Your product and your customer, that's it.
And what happened at the bathroom shop is it was similar. I was a salesperson, and I saw what was going wrong above me. Like, when I was like, or at least what I thought was going wrong. He's made that decision wrong. He's made this decision wrong. That demotivated me. And then when I was in the hot seat myself, I was trying to do against every decision which I perceived to be wrong, and I couldn't make money. The thing was getting like worse and worse and worse. And in the end, I was like selling things that nearly cost just to try and get cash in the business, because cash started to get low. And then I don't know, somewhere like 10 months in, I realized I was not making any money at all, and there was no hope in saving it. And it went bust. It was just stressful.
What do you reckon was the main thing you would have changed if you wanted to save that business? And that was a tough time, right? 2009, maybe?
Yeah, 2009.
And I always say to people, like, it wasn't easy to get a job. In 2008, 2009, when I was trying to first get my job, it was hard to get a job, really hard. And it was a recession and everything else. Like, we're going to go back to that. Right now, it's easy season. Jobs are abundant. People are getting jobs left, right, and center. There's free money everywhere. And we'll go back to that stage. I remember how hard it was in 2000. That's why I started doing what I started doing, because I couldn't get a job. That was my first priority, to get a job, you know?
Yeah.
And I couldn't. For the life of me, I had a good, nice CV, get a couple of, they were all just like door-to-door jobs. That's it. No experience, obviously. Well, I had a bit on there.
Yeah. Back to that question, what I would have done differently with that. What I would have done differently was I was coming from a sales environment, and everything was focused on like top line sales. Like, right, we did X, Y, Z today. And I used to try and give myself some sanity by like, we did $5,000 today. And like, that's good numbers, when I wasn't working on margins like I should. And I've always been smart with margins. I don't know why I became really sales driven in that. Like, I was working my profit out, but I didn't understand how important, I didn't really monitor the costs associated with sales. What I would do now is I wouldn't give a crap. Right now at my work, I don't give a crap about turnover. I only monitor profit. Literally every single sale that comes through, I don't even want to know the top line. I just get the GP number written, bang, bang, bang. And I wouldn't even worry. Do I turn over 400 grand? Do I turn over 200 grand? It doesn't matter. All I need to worry about is 3 grand for my rent, 2 grand for this member of staff, 2 grand for this member of staff, my salary and my business partner's salary. And those, I could itemize that down. Like, right, if I sell this bath, this toilet, this sink, I make 500. So what have I got to do? I got to sell that 30 times each month. That's not even that big an ask. But what I would do is I would start to I haven't sold that one. I'll do it cheaper. And then you start to sell like 2 lots of kit where you could have just sold one and made more than
the same
both.
amount, yeah.
And I think that's what happened. Is I got to like a desperate mode. It's like suddenly you realize you haven't got abundance, and then when you're in scarcity, you start chasing like crazy, trying to get abundance, and it's like a downward spiral. You don't want to be doing that.
Do you reckon the thing is though, you're always at equilibrium of like, do I make massive money on this, or do I sell 2 of them, or sell 3 of them? You know, like you need to get that balance right. But do you reckon half your problem was like maybe lack of footfall, lack of advertising, or because obviously you could have sold stuff for cheap if you had enough footfall.
They were problems, and I could have made the pricing structure that I was working on work if there was more footfall. But I believe with the footfall I had, I could have made profit if I'd have just been like, right, let's not worry about how many people are coming in, just quality. And I could have got it liquid. It could have been making money with the footfall it had, and then I could have been like, right, how do I get more footfall in? I guess the reason I look back and think what could I have done differently is, I would have liked to get more footfall. I would have liked to have more displays. I would have liked to have had more money in the business. However, even with all of the tools as I had them, I could have made them work. That's the point I'm making. There's no excuses. I could have made money from Jenny and Jane and Derek and whoever came through the shop, and I just messed up and sold it too cheap.
God, there's a Karen name you just come up with.
Yeah. And I could have done, and what would happen is they would team me up against a competition that was also in Swindon. And I had an ego battle because he used to be the manager of the shop that I'd taken on. So I never wanted to lose a deal to them, and I just gave away profit, man. I should have just been like, look, you go with those guys.
Yeah, that's one thing with sales, and like it's easy to forget is your number one negotiation tool shouldn't be dropping the price. If that's your best negotiation tool, you're not a good salesman, you know? Maybe you weren't at this time. I'm not saying you were. I'm not taking any digs. But like I used to always use that as my thing until I remember I had a job and they're like, that is not the thing you got to say. Like, well, you're getting it from us, service, reliability, quality, all those sort of other things like benefits, as opposed to dropping the price, right?
100%. No, I wasn't being a good salesman, and I am a good salesman. Like I've been at Dreams where you weren't even allowed to do discount, and I was fine for a year, you know.
Yeah.
And then I came here and I was allowed to do discount. And what happened is because I was the person buying the stock, I would always know deep in my head I can do a little bit more instead of just being as a salesperson should. I'd be like, oh come on, if I get the deal now,
You've got to be hard headed sometimes, haven't you? And that folding and lowering the price, it kind of almost devalues yourself. You know, you're lowering your value by doing that.
It's a bit like being in a marriage or in a situation where someone's trying to take power off of you, and you just have to stand your ground. You have to be prepared for them to walk away.
Yeah, that's it. You got to be prepared for them to walk away. For sales, definitely, 100%.
And it's like I was 19. I had a lot of emotions coming in where I'm like, oh, I can't afford this. I need the money. I need the money. I need the money. Whereas what I needed to do is I needed to take that hat off, so I wasn't even a business owner anymore, and I was just a salesperson.
Yeah,
and I think I could have made it work.
That's the thing, though, isn't it? Like, this is the problem I get with starting a business, right? One person, you always need a salesperson. No matter what business you got, you need a salesperson who's in charge of sales. And when you're doing everything else, every other aspect of the business, it becomes very hard to do that with sales, you know?
Yeah.
Like even doing admin takes away from sales.
Sales is a job where you need to be like 100% on it.
Yeah.
Like,
if you want the best of you anyway, like I know you could do like 70%, but if you want 100% out yourself, thinking straight, not making mistakes, you can't have any other jobs. Listen, even knowing the price of your product, that's not helping you, you know?
No, sales is an act. Sales is this. You can't have aggro from your bird. You can't have aggro from your friends. You don't really even want to have a car that you've got to fix up, be on a driveway, because you just need to be 100%. I am selling to this guy here. You don't want to be worried. Did someone just text me? What was that phone message that went off in my pocket? You need to be 100% focused on how do I get this guy to buy off of me now?
Yeah, because one wrong word or something wrongly phrased, you killed the sale.
Yeah. And like,
it's crazy.
Like, and after the sale's dead, you need to go back to like the bathroom, whatever, wash your face, and then come back out as if you just won it, and then go back and approach the customers the same way. And what I see is the people who can come back from a defeat, just like in business, the people who can come back from a defeat and bounce back and come back to the next venture without being jaded, without being sour, they're the people who do well. And the people who approach the next venture just a little bit differently, just a little bit less confident, just a little bit less sure of themselves, and then that fails, and then the next one, and then that fails. And it's
I had the same thing. I used to get rejection after rejection. I sit in the car on my next thing, like, put some music on, hype myself up, and then just go in, you know? Like, you feel defeated after like 10 rejections, you feel defeated, and you don't want to do this job anymore.
And after